Hey everybody, I'm super excited to be sharing with you today some of my favorite party snacks. I love combining salty, crunchy, gooey, sweet. I mean, those flavors are amazing together. They're super awesome. And today I am using Blue Diamond wasabi and soy sauce almonds, toasted coconut almonds, and their Smokehouse almonds. So you know there's going to be a ton of flavor. And what's great is that all of these recipes are super duper simple and you can make all of them ahead. So first up, I am making my crunchy, spicy party mix. I love this stuff. It has a lot of really great flavors in it, and this uses the wasabi and soy sauce almonds. And I'm also adding some great little moments like toasted coconut, some salted roasted peas, really yummy stuff. I basically set this up in bowls across the house while the game's on, and it just disappears. People are obsessed with it, and it's so easy to make. So let's get started. So to make this crunchy spicy party mix, I have 1 cup of Blue Diamond wasabi and soy sauce almonds, so 1 tin. I have 2 cups of rice cereal squares. I have 2 cups of rice crackers. These have a little bit of sesame on them. I have 1 cup of roasted and salted peas. I have a 1/2 cup of the toasted coconut. And then I'm gonna combine 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and then I have a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper for a little bit of extra heat, and then ditto a 1/4 teaspoon of some salt just to really add that flavor. So I'm gonna combine all of these things together and then bake it off just to get everything nice and toasted. So to make my party mix, first things first, I'm gonna take all of my sort of dry ingredients and mix them together on this tray. So I have my crackers and my cereal. I have the roasted peas. I love these for color as well as flavor. The toasted coconut. And of course, the big part of the flavor here, the wasabi soy sauce almonds. So this is where a lot of the spice is going to come from. I'm gonna take my 2 tablespoons of butter and put it in the tiniest little fry pan ever. And I'm gonna let that melt with the soy sauce. And then I'm gonna add my spices. So you just want everything to be melted together. It smells really good. And I'm just gonna sort of pour this over everything, like so. I just wanna kinda get it as much all over it as I can. And then it is hot, so I'm gonna be careful not to really use my hands. But I'm just gonna stir this up lightly. And so now I'm gonna pop this in the oven at 250 degrees, and I'm just gonna basically let it toast. I'm gonna use it as like a giant toaster oven. So I'm gonna let this cook for about 30 minutes. You can go for an hour if you want it really toasty and golden brown. And then it'll be ready to go. I'll just pour it into some bowls and enjoy. So the mix, it is out of the oven. I've poured it into my bowl and I have let it sit for a little bit. It looks wonderful. I cannot wait to give it a try. That is so yummy. Oh my gosh. I really love the flavor of the toasted coconut with the wasabi soy sauce almonds because it's a little bit of sweet, a little bit of spicy, that salty flavor too, but so crunchy. So this is the first of our snacks, so we're moving on to our next one, which is a sweet one. They're sort of Aussie-inspired Hedgehog bars, and those are using toasted coconut almonds, so that is gonna be really delicious. I'm half Australian, and I love these things. You basically take all of your favorite mix-ins and combine it with chocolate. So today, because I'm inspired by the Blue Diamond toasted coconut almonds, I am doing white chocolate, a little bit of shortbread, some marshmallows, some toasted coconut, just to really put an exclamation point on that flavor. And then everything else is sort of there to give it a really gooey, very luxurious texture. And then I'm gonna set it in the fridge and basically let it harden up, and then I'll have really delicious bars. So my ingredients I have here are about 1 cup of roughly chopped Blue Diamond toasted coconut almonds. I have about 1.5 cups, so 1 box of crumbled shortbread cookies. I have 1 cup of mini marshmallows. I have about 12 ounces of white chocolate that I'm going to melt. I have a 1/2 cup of brown sugar and a 1/2 cup of white sugar, 2 sticks of butter, so this is definitely rich, 2 eggs, about a 1/4 cup of flour just to get everything to bind together, and then I have about a 1/2 cup of toasted coconut that I'm gonna put on top. All right, so to make the Hedgehog bars, I'm gonna first start melting together my butter and my sugars. So in goes the butter, and then in goes the sugar. And I just want this to melt together basically long enough for all the sugars to dissolve. I want it to be one nice even texture. And so while that's happening, I'm going to whisk together my eggs. I want my eggs to be really, really well whisked. And the reason why is because I'm combining the two of them, and you can accidentally scramble your eggs if you add eggs to a hot liquid. So I'm going to mix these up as best I can so that when I add them, I don't really have to do a lot to incorporate it. So the way I like to crack my eggs is I like to crack it on a flat surface. And the reason why is because what it does is, if I did that really gently, you can see it crushes the bottom of the egg. It doesn't send the shell up into it, because if you do it on an edge like this, it actually sort of pushes it into the egg. So this way, I'm able to kind of keep everything nice and contained and no shell. My butter and sugars are melted, and in order to make sure that I do not get scrambled eggs, I'm going to temper my eggs. And all that means is I'm gonna add a little bit of the hot liquid to the eggs, stir it together, and keep doing that until the eggs kind of reach sort of a happy temperature. This way, I'm not gonna end up with scrambled eggs. Just a tiny, tiny bit at a time, because this is very hot liquid. Anytime you're melting sugar, it's gonna get real hot. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna turn the heat off, and now I'm gonna add my eggs to the mix now that they're tempered. Stirring in really carefully. There we go. And now I'm also going to add in the white chocolate. And because this is really hot, the white chocolate is just going to start melting immediately. And so the thing with the white chocolate is it burns so easily, so you definitely want to do this off heat. So that looks really nice. So now I'm going to add the flour, and this is a really small amount. It's only a quarter cup. And the reason why I'm adding it is because this is going to help everything bind together. And I'm just looking for it to get a really nice sort of even texture. Beautiful. All right, so that is great. So now I'm gonna combine everything together in this big bowl. So first things first, the toasted coconut almonds, roughly chopped. So that's about a cup. The 1 cup of marshmallows. 1.5 cups of the shortbread cookies. And I'm just gonna use my hands and mix these together, like so. And then I'm gonna pour our mixture on top. And I just wanna mix it all together. And it will have sort of a rocky road, sort of craggy texture to it. And that's really good because we basically just want the liquid mixture to kind of be the glue that binds everything together. So the Hedgehog bar mix is looking awesome. So I now have a small, this is like about 9 by 7 inches little pan and some parchment paper. The parchment paper is so I can lift the bars out really easily. This is one of my favorite tricks. It just makes it so easy. So you can see this kind of doesn't want to stay in. It's not a problem. Once I start adding the mixture, it'll weigh it down. So I'm gonna add a lump just to sort of anchor everything together. There we go. And now pour the rest in. And then with my spatula, I'm just smoothing it all out. And the final touch is a little bit of toasted coconut right on top. All right, so toasted coconut is on, so that means these are going in the fridge for, I'd say, minimum 2 hours. I just put them in overnight. It's so much easier to get everything done the day before, but you basically just want these to get nice and chilled through, and then it'll set up and you can slice them. All right, these are out of the fridge. This is my favorite part. What? I love that. It just makes it so easy. So now I'm just gonna slice these up, and they are very rich, so a little goes a very, very long way. I love these little bars because they're really easy finger food and they're so adaptable. So if you want to try any kind of flavor that you really enjoy, you can mix it up. Oh my gosh. Wow. Those are really, really awesome. They are so intense. The flavor is really, really great. I love the toasted coconut with the almonds, with the actual toasted coconut on top. It just sort of adds a really great exclamation point. And it's funny, you'd think that you'd have to add coconut milk or coconut extract to get that coconut flavor, but the almonds really have so much flavor. So for this next one, I know that bacon is a little bit played out, but whatever, I love it. It is such a great flavor. And when you combine it with caramelly things, and I'm sorry, these Smokehouse almonds, stop it. It's too good. It's too delicious, and I'm really obsessed with this recipe. It is a savory, salty caramel corn, and really, really simple to put together. It's going to be absolutely delicious. Make sure to make a little bit extra for yourself because you will be eating it. That's what I did when I was testing this. So to make it, it's pretty simple. I have about 8 cups of popped popcorn. I have 1 cup of whole Blue Diamond Smokehouse almonds. I have 1 cup of already cooked chopped up bacon, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 stick of butter. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. This is gonna make the caramel really froth up. And then I have about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 cup of corn syrup. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to make my caramel sauce and then spread it all over everything and then toast it off in the oven just to make sure everything gets nice and crisp. So to make the caramel corn, I'm first gonna get started on the caramel. So to make that, I'm going to melt together the sugar, which is in a nice little mound, and the butter. Oh yes, and I'm gonna add my corn syrup as well. And meanwhile, I'm gonna take my popcorn and put it in a 9 by 13 inch pan. I lined it with wax paper because you just do not wanna put caramel onto metal. It will 100% stick, and wax paper has some nice lift to it, so it makes it a lot easier to handle. All right, so my caramel has started bubbling together. It looks amazing, smells so, so good. So I'm gonna get started on mixing everything else together before I add the baking soda, because that is gonna cause the caramel to whoosh, kind of foam up a little bit. So I'm doing this kind of in layers. I'm gonna sprinkle the almonds on top. And the reason why is because I actually tried doing this where I mixed everything in a bowl first, but all of the almonds and bacon kind of went to the bottom, and so this way I get a more even layer of everything. And then bacon. And you can kind of lightly incorporate it with your hands. And then the baking soda. You can see already how it's becoming kind of milky and white. And this changes the consistency of the caramel. It changes it from being really kind of hard and toffee-like to almost aerated. So now I'm just gonna pour this right on top. And I'm not gonna really fuss too much about the fact that, you know, where it's going. Because as this bakes in the oven, I'm gonna bake it at about 200, 250 degrees. I'm gonna pop this in the oven for about an hour and then I get to eat it. So the caramel corn is out of the oven, and you can see it just kind of spread out a little bit more and sort of got into every nook and cranny. And then using my hands, I'm just gonna kind of mix it together a little bit just to make sure everything's evenly coated. And you wanna make sure that it's not too hot to the touch because you don't wanna burn your fingers. But coming out of the oven, it was cooking at such a low heat, it should not be very hot. All right. Well, here's the final spread. It looks amazing. Oh my gosh. I love that there's a little bit of everything for everyone here. There is something really sweet and decadent with our toasted coconut hedgehog bars. We have the crunchy and spicy party mix, which I love. And then the perfect sweet and savory bacon Smokehouse caramel corn. Oh my gosh. Okay, I haven't tried this one yet, so I have to give it a try. That is so delicious. Oh my gosh. I just love those combination of flavors. You cannot miss with bacon, caramel, smoky almonds, popcorn. It is so delicious. And I love how all these recipes are very simple, fun to do, and they're all make ahead. You can make all of these the day before the game. So I hope you enjoyed watching. These recipes are super fun, really easy. So for more recipes, make sure to check out my blog, thekitchenkitchen.com. And also for more game-changing snacks, make sure to check out facebook.com/Blue Diamond.